I've played over 1,000 hours of Necromancer so far in Diablo 4, and today I'll share all my leveling secrets with you. 6 easy steps to get your character from 1 to 100 in no time, while still having fun and not hating yourself. Step number 1, level 1 to 35. And here, most important, do not ever pick Decrepify. That is a trap. Iron Maiden is so much better for this part of the leveling journey, because with the first upgrade, Iron Maiden gives you 5 essence per cursed enemy, and it's for free itself, which essentially allows you to continuously just zoom through dungeons without ever stopping. And if you now have a build like Blood Surge, which just absolutely obliterates everyone left, right, and center, you essentially curse, search, curse, search, curse, search. But same works also for Blight and a Bone Spear Necromancer. Now, which activities are you going to do from 1 to 35? That doesn't matter if it's seasonal or non-seasonal, but you're going to focus on Whisper quests because they give you so many riches, it's actually crazy, and at the same time, a huge boost of experience. Right now in Season 1, you're going to be stuck in Blood Harvest. Blood Harvest is not only fantastic because it always has whispers in it, there's also a huge amount of elites and generally a super high mob density. The best part is the vampiric blood siphons. You walk into them and they keep continuously spawning minions, and as Blood Surge, for example, you can almost stay forever in there and just soak up your XP like crazy. Now, as you hit level 35, that is where you need to do the capstone dungeon. Latest, I would say, is 38. 35 is generally a very good level to do it because it's going to be rather easy to go through. And this brings us also to step number 2. That's level 35/37, 38 to 45. And in this stage, you're a little bit too weak for World Tier 3 content, and you can't put on your items that you got from the capstone dungeon yet, and can't wear sacred items until 45. Trick here, do 4 strongholds. Strongholds are level gated, so they'll still be level 35, 36, 37. And doing 1 stronghold gives you round about 1 level in World Tier 3. At the same time as you're doing these 4 strongholds, you're going to also do 2 Legion events. And that is already enough to boost you from this level up to level 45. One and done, as easy as ever. You're still using Iron Maiden, you're not swapping over to Decrepify. And now you can actually put on your sacred gear and the gear from the capstone dungeon, and suddenly you're able to just do any overworld content in World Tier 3. You can tackle the Blood Harvest without a single problem, and that's where we're going to return to. And you can also tackle Hell Tides and still keep doing Legion events. Do not, any cost, step into a Nightmare dungeon. Before level 50, it's useless because you're not even going to gain Glyph XP. Yes, Glyph XP starts with level 50. Before that, completely forget about it. And that's what we're saying now from level 45 to 55. That is step 3. That's where we're going to go into the overworld. You're going to do the Hell Tides. You're going to do all that stuff to get ready for the tier 4 capstone dungeon. And that is kind of like at level 55. As you hit that 55, tops 58, you really want to get the capstone dungeon done. Why not much earlier? Because level 60 is the level cap for actually picking up ancestral gear. Now, if you get the capstone dungeon done with level 55, let's go to step 4, and that is 55 to 60. And here you're going to apply the same trick as before as you did when jumping into World Tier 3. You're going to start doing Legion events in World Tier 4 because you're too weak for anything else. And you're also going to do your strongholds again that are left over. You should have another 6 strongholds left. And that in step 4 brings you easy up to level 60. And then you can put on ancestral gear. And here it gets super interesting because if you hit level 60 and you put on ancestral gear, you could already have 900 plus item power weapons because you've been doing world bosses. Yes, whenever a world boss pops up in World Tier 4, you just do it. And now with these 925 item power items, your damage is going to be through the window. And then in step 5, that's 60 to level 75, you can actually start doing Nightmare dungeons. As I hit level 60, put on my ancestral gear, I was just flying through a Nightmare dungeon. And there was absolutely no tomorrow to it. It was so goddamn quick to just go through. Now, you're not only from 60 to 75 going to do Nightmare dungeons. There's still Legion events whenever it is a Whisper, world bosses, Don't engage into the uber bosses, yes, unless you have someone helping you, because I think level 75 is a nice level to hit equipment-wise and skill-wise plus paragons to then start with the uber bosses. Before, it's going to be a little bit of a drag depending on your build. Now, as you're soaking yourself up to level 75, doing Hell Tides, doing the Blood Harvest, getting the materials for the respective bosses already, then step 6, the final one, 75 to 100. During this phase, I would definitely start doing the uber bosses because you're going to get all the nice pieces of equipment together that will allow you to farm tier 100 dungeons. Because from 75 to like 85, 90, it's still going to be Legion events, Hell Tides, Whispers, Blood Harvest, get the Malignant Hearts, get the parts for Varshan, get these Zeers, do some Nightmare dungeons, but I wouldn't overly do too many Nightmare dungeons. Because for me, all my glyphs were roughly level 5 as I finished my first tier 100. And here's the thing, as you hit level 90 and you play, for example, Tempest Necro, at level 90 you can already farm tier 100 dungeons. And if it's not tier 100s, you can at least do 80s to 90s. And the amount of glyph XP you're getting from these is the same as if you're doing 2 to 3 like tier 20s, 30s, 40s. It's just such a waste to even engage in these in the early time. I really started farming Nightmares with like 60s straight on, and then I just straight up jumped to 80s, 90s, and then as soon as you're like level 95, you're just only going to be farming tier 100s at that point on to just literally get glyph XP, glyph XP, glyph XP maximum. And you do like 5 tier 100s and you have a glyph already up to level 15. Just don't waste your time early. It can be done so easily later on. And we're doing all of this to prepare for the Abattoir of Zeer. Now, that was a lot, but there's also a hidden step 8 that I actually didn't talk about, and that is now the preparation for the Abattoir of Zeer. The Abattoir of Zeer is the final endgame content, the content after level 100. And the way to prepare for that is definitely getting all your glyphs up to level 21. For that is just farming Nightmare Dungeons tier 100. It goes so easy, and if you're playing the Tempest Necro, for example, or even the new Poomancer with Black River, you're just going to be blasting through. Also, you do want the Ring of Sacrilegious Souls because it really enabled so many builds to work well, so have an eye out for Varshan and farm that guy down. Also, looking for armor pieces to really upgrade to the max, you want to look for that total armor percentage, because potentially the Abattoir of Zeer is past 100 content, harder than tier 100 dungeons, so maybe monsters have even more levels and the 13,500 armor cap is not enough anymore. So you definitely want these max rolls on total armor percentage on your amulet, on your chest, on your helmet. That's what you're going for to push that even higher. Right now with my most tanky build, I'm sitting with a disobedience perk around 17,500 armor. And that is, I think, being really ready for the absolute endgame. If you're not sure what build yet to play and looking forward to something, how about this massive damage necro that also has a non-unique version? Or more into the Bloodmancer, why don't try out Bloodlands?